Make no mistake about it. We are doing things today that the CIA was not doing a year ago, and there's more risk attached to those.
Risk-taking, that sounds like you're expanding covert and clandestine operations.
Oh, most certainly.
To what effect? What do you want?
I want the president to have the best intelligence in the world. I'm Michael Richard Pompeo.
As America's top spy master, CIA Director Mike Pompeo splits his time between the agency he runs in Langley, Virginia, and the White House, where he personally helps deliver the president's daily brief.
What's that like? Take us behind the scenes.
So sometime each morning, someone hollers, "Pompeo, you're in." And I, along with Director Coates, General McMaster, most days the Vice President as well, deliver the President the most exquisite information any leader in the world ever gets a chance to see.
And does it still contain those killer graphics you've talked about?
It does. I love killer graphics. I love them. So do you. It helps communicate information, right? This is the important thing. It's absolutely important that we deliver information to the President in a way that in the time that can be allotted to this, that he can grasp the central information that we're trying to deliver to him.
I met Mike Pompeo, and it was the only guy I met. I didn't want to meet anybody else.
Pompeo has cultivated a uniquely close relationship with President Trump, whose sometimes antagonistic tweets and provocative post-inaugural speech at the CIA,
As you know, I have a running war with the media,
was said to put him at odds with the agency, something Pompeo denies.
It was important to me that he come out here. So I asked if he wouldn't, on his first day, come out and talk to the men and women of the CIA.
That speech ended up being quite a stem winder, though.
It was a heck of a day. Our officers appreciated the president coming after a very long evening the night before, coming out to Langley to speak with them and share his love for them.
Your predecessor, John Brennan, had called that speech a despicable display of self-aggrandizement. When a former director criticizes the administration, what does that do?
So there's a long history of former directors behaving in a way that reflects the excellence, professionalism, and non-political nature of the Central Intelligence Agency. It is my hope that all of the former directors will behave that way, because when they don't, they do damage to the CIA.
I appreciate the opportunity to appear before you today.
It was former Director Brennan who told Congress last year
I saw information and intelligence that was worthy of investigation.
that he alerted the FBI to contacts between Russian officials and the Trump campaign, a central focus of the ongoing investigation.
Have you seen any evidence of collusion with members of the Trump campaign at the time?
I wasn't on the campaign. I haven't seen it. I can only say this. I've watched this administration deal with all of our adversaries in a way that has been robust. And the CIA, as part of that, is doing our part.
What is being done to make sure that doesn't happen in 2018 and in the next presidential election in 2020?
It's a great question, Nora. It's a very important question. I can't answer it. I can only tell you this. There is a major push, not only from the CIA, but all of this administration, this government, to do everything we can to prevent that from happening in 2018, in 2020, in 2030, and beyond.
It's been reported, though, there hasn't been a cabinet meeting about it. There hasn't been a National Security Council meeting about it.
Yeah, that's why you shouldn't follow all the reporting. You should take it all with a grain of salt, except yours, Nora. I'm sure yours is 100% accurate.
So on that note, is this being taken seriously, the Russian interference in our democratic process?
Yes, and I wish it had been taken this seriously previously.
While the former Republican congressman from Kansas was no stranger to Washington, Pompeo and his wife Susan have sought insider advice about life at Langley.
Director Panetta gave me the advice. He said, it's great, we got 2 Italians as CIA directors. But also helped me think about how to interact with Congress, right? We have an oversight body that funds the organization. And so he gave me some ideas about how to make sure that relationship was strong and sound as well.
And Susan, what did you learn from this experience? I'm sure there's so many spouses of people who work here at the CIA.
Right. It's a whole new world. It really is. And while I'm able to meet with groups of spouses, which I try to do regularly, Mike always is interested afterwards, you know, how'd it go, what'd you learn? And I always say to him, what I learned is you should hire all of them, too. Because it turns out that really smart, capable, bright people marry really smart, capable, bright people who are an amazing patriots. It's a family commitment, like most things are.
Pompeo has swatted away rumors that he's up for a role other than this one and says he's focused on changing things right where he is.
What do you want your legacy here to be?
I haven't thought about it. I've only been doing it for a year. I think our adversaries should know this. When Mike Pompeo leaves as the director of the CIA, this organization will be more vicious, more aggressive, more inclined to take risks, to come directly at the threats that America and the world faces. If I can do that, I'll be very proud of what I've accomplished during my time as the director.
So it was fascinating to get that inside look about that and a number of other topics.
Fascinating, and he seemed very forthcoming as much as he could be. I mean, I liked in the last hour, Nora, when you said, did we know about that latest attack? And you could tell he was thinking about his answer, but he then said to you, yes. Then when you asked a question that he didn't want to answer, he said, great question, but I don't want to answer it. I appreciate his candor.
Just on that, to follow up on that, because the reporting has been that our intelligence on North Korea has not been the best, and that we did not know that that last nuclear test was a hydrogen bomb, and he said yes, we knew that.
Yeah.
So that's
but he hesitated a little the way he answered it, but then he did answer it.
Yeah.
You talk about his time at the CIA, that there has been talk about if Rex Tillerson leaves state, about him potentially moving into that role at some point. Does he say anything about that?
I did ask him that specifically, and he said he's focused on his job at the CIA. So he has
Yes.
not as good as it being a spy, but he did not give any clue about his future role.
And he didn't say absolutely not. He didn't say absolutely not.
That's
very interesting interview, and his wife too.
Yeah,
Mrs. Pompeo, I thought added a lot to the interview.
You always forget that a spouse serves alongside
That's
with
right.
someone in
That's right.
whether it's in the military or in an administration.
That's right. It's nice to see.